Hello and welcome to TrapGamez. I'm Daan and I'm going to talk about display encounters today. Um, the reason why I'm doing this is for... Ooh, I'm crashing in a strange cat, some lag there. For a map I'm making, I needed a display that could count up to 99, which are about 100 numbers if you count the zero, the double zero. But it also had to be easily reset, and I usually use piston tapes to make displays. They are quite easy to make. They don't use a lot of space like most counter displays nowadays use. There is an actual interesting system which this is based on, but that uses pistons, and I don't really like using pistons except for piston tapes in that sort of things because they're quite heavy on usage, so to say, and having firing a few 18 pistons at a time is quite a lot. So it's also something I want to avoid doing this. So I started using this simple design, which is using a sand counter, which is just a sticky piston with a sand on top, and on here you have a signal income. So if I activate this piston, it extends, and because this block is now powered by this repeater, this piston stays up. So it's actually remembering, oh, I gotta stay up. Now I apply this throughout this whole counter. This counts to 10, or actually 9 to 0 if you program it right. But what I've done, I've set up this, which generates a 1-tick pulse, which will throw up all these sand blocks. And because there is a repeater with a 5-tick delay, the time to actually get to the next one is actually quite long. So if I just reset this, I can show you. If I press the button, the signal allowed for only to be one piston to be set, and so the other pistons stay down. But if every time do this, you will add one more sand up to everything, and you can continue this. And I wanted to read off the signal from here, but the problem is this signal is on, which you don't want to do. You just want to say this signal is on, and that's not possible. At least it's possible, but the size of it would be so big, it would other systems would be more useful, because I've actually only want to be at about 4 thick, because if you look at here, this is 4 thick, and in between here you want to have 2 spaces. You want to actually get it maybe at like 1 spaces, but that's just not thinkable in Redstone at the moment. Or maybe it is, but I've not just looked enough into it. But so this goes all around and reset itself when it hits the last number. The reason also why sand is used instead of normal blocks is because the signal you are giving off with is so low that solid blocks like this wool block will actually stay up. If there is an error, if the timing is just right, the whole wool block will stay up and the piston will stay down, and it will give off a false so it will give off a false signal, and that's something we want to avoid. So we're using sand because sand always will try to fall down. So if pistons actually place it above him and then drop down without retracting, the sand will just fall down by itself, and that's why you got the 5-tick repeater, which will allow the sand to have enough time to fall down. I tried to make it somewhat smaller even more, but this is a failure design because pistons have to be 1 up more. So then the repeater locks came, and these are quite interesting though, because they have sort of the same effect as this counter here. So if I just activate this piston and I press this button, this button, the time this went off and they went off the lock was enough time for this repeater to actually grab the signal of the torch. And if we turn this off now and we keep pressing this, you will see that the repeater hops one further every time. So we have basically a counter that counts to 10 in a very small area. If looking this is only 3 by 10, and this one is already what, 3 by 10 and 2 high, and this is only 1 high, and it's also a much simpler system. You won't need certain pulse lengths. You will need to limit the length of the actual signal though, which I've done by using this. This is based for button length signals though, so if you have longer signals you will have to come up with something else. The second problem is how we can read off the initial which one is turned on, and that's come up to my next design, which is this. I've basically placed another block in between every repeater, and I've also done a little bit something, because to turn off this torch we would need to know if one of these is powered. So I've actually done that here. I'm taking power from each and every one of under these blocks. So this block powers this, so this repeater powers this block and travels through this signal, which turns off this signal, which this allows this repeater to get a signal. So if this repeater gives a signal off to its imaginary repeater here, which is not present, the signal will fall and this repeater torch will turn on. And I actually also, for the display I made using this, is that you can actually use this torch also as a value, and I'm using this as value 0, and this will be value 10, so to say. And this works just the same way as that, it just has more space in between. And if I just will reset it until it's back to us again. And there you see the signal is not going far enough, and that's actually creating a problem at the moment, but we can overlook that for now. So as you see, it's actually powered now, and if I press the button again it actually goes, but this torch doesn't go on until it has reached the last one. And this torch here represents where itself is. While using this and then making it like so, I've actually come up with a design that basically powers this display. Now this display is just putting out this line here, and that's basically because it just it's on reset. I've made a little reset which allows to easily get out the signal out and reset it to 0. So now it's showing nicely 0, and the input is actually on the back side, but you can also put it on the front side. It doesn't really matter. So if I press this button, the repeater signal will hop 1, and now the second torch is off, and we see the value is 1. And if we continue, we get 2, 8, 9, and so on and so on. How I just do the rest basically is I just take those signals up on redstone towers, and I just take off where each signal would be. So like this part of the display, which is this, needs to be powered, so I just take that signal and put it out, and I got glowstone over here, which just, and I got for every part of the display that needs to be powered, I got such a line along here which takes off power. And it works quite well. The reset time though, the time you need to keep this on, is actually quite long. You actually can do it on a somewhat programmable way. You can say use a memory cell that gives off a positive signal in here, so it will reset, and you can take a signal out from here that will reset that memory cell, so will stop resetting. And it's actually quite useful because it resets after it's done, and you can easily read it off when to reset. And then you can actually just copy this one, because it's only 4 FIC, just to the other side here, and you have to and just have it so that whenever this is powered, it should give off a pulse to its second to its neighbor. And well, that was me on this design. I might put up a video on how to build one, but It's not especially difficult if you just put all the redstone repeaters like so between blocks and put redstone torches on them. And then it's just a simple task of connecting them right up with the right segment. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.